What would you do if a guest at your hotel seemed less than human? This terrifying true story from a front desk worker will leave you questioning reality. I've worked in hotels for a little over 4 years, and I have met a lot of people. I work at the front desk, and my hotel is right next to a mall. I think if you've ever worked hotels, you know the types of weirdos we can get. Tweakers, Karens, and people who talk to the air. You know what I mean. I've worked at this hotel for just about a year, and seen all these types of people in spades. I've had to call the cops more times than I'd like on people who decide it's okay to just sit in the lobby screaming at me that they don't have anywhere else to go. It sucks. But to the point. Today, I was working my typical morning shift. I'm a college student, so I was pretty much just on my personal laptop all day, clicking around Blackboard, for whatever assignment seemed the least hellish to work on. I like to think that I'm pretty good at hearing people coming. I mean, most people aren't exactly quiet about walking up to me. Sometimes, though, someone sneaks up, and I don't notice until an awkward amount of time has passed. This time, a man was standing in front of me. I mean, usually it's women who sneak up, or kids, but this was a man. Whatever, I apologize for not seeing him and ask how I can help. A typical, "Hi sir, I'm so sorry I didn't see you. How can I help you?" His voice was weird. It's hard to pin down what I mean by that. You might have honestly just had to be there, but I'll try. It wasn't coming from his throat. Like, voices come up through the throat and then out through the mouth in whatever direction they are facing. You know when someone is talking in a different direction than where you are? The voice goes in that direction, and you have to sort of catch the tail end of it? This guy didn't sound like that. I mean, he was facing me, but his voice wasn't coming in like a stream of sound at me. It came sort of all around him. Like a 3D speaker, I think, if the boomy bits went all around and still worked the same. I hope you understand what I mean. He asked for a room. No big deal, that's literally my job. I'm getting paid to make reservations for people. The voice thing continued throughout the entire interaction. How many nights? 2. How many adults? 1. Any children? No. Do you have AAA? Or are you a part of the military? Number. He sort of hesitated here, which wasn't a big deal in the moment. But looking back at it after this whole interaction, it kind of adds to the whole thing. I tell him the nightly breakdown, and then the total, and then how much we hold, including a security deposit. Okay. So I ask him for his ID and credit card. Then the sort of next weird thing happens. His wallet is just on the desk. Like, it wasn't there, and then it was. And the desk is not very big, and I was looking directly at him. He didn't move to take his wallet out of his pocket or anything. He was sort of eerily still. Not a statue or anything. Just very, very still. I don't know. Maybe I blinked too long or something. I'm running off like 3 hours of sleep here, guys, and I'm normally at a beautiful 9.5. Then he sort of stared at me for a bit. Not too long to where I had to say anything, but just long enough that I started to feel uncomfortable. Then he blinked, like he realized something, and went to open his wallet and grab his ID and credit card. It took him a while to do that too. So he handed me the cards. It took him way too long to find either of them, but like his wallet looked pretty empty from what I could see, and I made him the reservation. It was pretty early in the day for check-ins. I want to say it was like 10:30-ish. Normal check-in time at most places is like 3 p.m, so I had to let him know that there would be an early check-in fee if he wanted to check in now. Again, this dude was so quiet and still. It was really unnerving. Finally, he just sort of nods, and I ask him, "You want to check in now?" "Yes." So I get started on checking him in. I get it done in the computer. His card runs fine. With weird guests, I'm always concerned that the card will not, in fact, run fine. And I print out the paperwork for him to sign. I highlight the lines I need filled out. And as I am doing it, I can feel his eyes on me. More than how that phrase normally means. It felt like someone was pushing their eyes through my skin or something. So weird. Anyways, I let him know to fill out the highlighted lines, and he again stares at the paper for a really long time. Then, he looks back up to me. Okay, weird. Like this whole interaction is weird, and it's giving me the heebie-jeebies. I just say something like, I'll just make your room keys while you fill that out. A miniature rant interlude here. No guests are ever able to see the pens we display for them to use. We have this little jar with beads in it, and the pens kind of stick out the top. They are on top of the desk, more to the corner. I think they look nicer in a corner, but they aren't hidden. They aren't being blocked by anything. They are there for the world to see, but no one ever sees them. It's so annoying. Sometimes I just grab a pen for them and place it on the paper, because they will sit looking everywhere but where the pens are. I know it's a small thing, but God, it's annoying. Anyways, all that to say, I thought this guy couldn't see the pens, so I grab a pen for him, place it on top of the paper, and go about my business making his keys. Note for you guys, if you are ever traveling alone, and you know it says so on the reservation, but the hotel employee gives you 2 keys, it's just hardwired into our brains that way. The average amount of travelers in a room is 2, even if it's not listed that way on the reservation. So we make 2, just in case. Plus, sometimes, one of the keys is busted. So I finish making the keys. I could swear I never saw him move during the time I was doing this. I don't think I heard any clothes rustling either. And then give him the basic breakdown of the hotel. Your room is on this floor. Elevators are that way past breakfast. These are the breakfast times. This is the pool hours. And checkout is 12. You know, basic stuff. The details don't vary that much between hotels. Then he says, I know, which, okay, is not that weird if you've stayed at this hotel before. It's annoying, but not weird. But I looked up his name in our system. If he stayed here before, his name would have popped up. It didn't. Also, on the topic of his name, it was super weird. Not like foreign or anything. Or at least I don't think, if it wasn't from any country I have ever seen. I don't know, maybe I just don't recognize the language. So I go to hand him the keys, and again, he's super weird about it. Just slow. Lots of staring at me or the keys. And then the keys are gone. Like not in my hands, but I don't see them in his. Like the wallet a little bit. Oh, the wallet is gone by this point too. Never saw him put it in his pocket. Just gone. And the pen is in the same place I put it when I set it on his paperwork. I know that he could have placed it back in relatively the same place when he was done, but I don't know. It looked like the exact same spot. Finally, I grab his papers and look down to make sure it's all filled out. And when I look back up, he's gone. I don't want to harp on this too much because I feel like I've already mentioned it a few times, but I didn't hear him move. He was there and then he wasn't. I would have seen if he went to go grab his bags. He didn't have any with him. And would have heard if he walked out to go to the elevator. It's just a sensory input thing that becomes second nature when you've been somewhere long enough. But he was just gone. Then, the absolute weirdest part. It felt like maybe 30 seconds after I looked up and he was gone. And the phone rang. His room number was calling the front desk. At first, I was a bit panicked, because I thought housekeeping wasn't actually done with the room, and I sent him to a dirty one. I've had literal nightmares of this happening. It's a nightmare when it happens in real life too. But still, I answer the phone the same way I always do. It's like the whole 2-card scenario from earlier, just hardwired into us hotel folk. Thank you for calling the front desk. How can I help you? I'm expecting a housekeeper on the other end. It's silent. Hello? Silence. Hello? I always drag out the last hello. I don't know why. Then I heard something that almost made me jump out of my skin. Just breathing. The sound of breathing, but not from the phone. Like someone is standing right behind me, breathing down my neck. For a lack of better words, I whipped around. I don't know what I was expecting to see. I'm all alone up at the desk, guys. But whatever I expected to see just wasn't there. An empty desk, just like always. But the breathing, it was still there. I kept turning around because the breathing is right on my neck. Then I hear the dial tone. Whoever, or whatever, called the desk hung up. I haven't seen him again today. I've already clocked out and raced home to type this up in the comfort of my bed. I had housekeeping go check the room to see if he was in there. Apparently he was. I also checked the camera before I left. It's sort of janky, like needs to be updated, because the quality sucks and the UI is horrible kind of janky. The whole situation, which was maybe 10 minutes tops, is there on the camera. A couple of moments of camera fuzz where it's hard to see anything, so I didn't get any clarity on the wallet, pen, or disappearing act things. There's even the moments of me turning in circles like an idiot with the phone cord pulling the phone box around. I didn't hear anything else weird from housekeeping when they checked on the room, and there isn't really anything else for me to try and, I don't know, investigate. Just a really weird interaction with a really weird man. Sorry if it's a bit boring. It was a lot more intense in the moment. Just felt I needed to share it with some people who might understand more of what was going on. If you've ever had an unexplainable encounter, share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this strange hotel guest. Don't forget to hit the like button if this story gave you chills, and subscribe for more creepy tales every week. Oh, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next.